Hi, this is Chris from Airwindows, and I have a really insane thing to show you here. It's a little thing called Livezilla. This is one of the early Airwindows console kits. Oh, did I not tell you what console kit means? Console kit means this. Hear that? Console kit means it's built with console included on all of the individual sounds so that you can put console on the bus and use a Airwindows console mix system and run the drums from EXS24 using one of these kits, and don't put console on the track. They're already included in the samples, and all the samples are being presented. You can see with the level control that's over here that everything is being played back at full crank, whether it's quiet little sounds or noisy loud sounds. When you've got console installed, and the kit costs 10 bucks, console's $50 plugin, you can combine things like this symbol here. The individual samples are overlaying on top of each other inside the console system, giving it a little bit more space and depth. Or indeed the Now you'll notice a certain amount of weird high frequency ring. This is an old sample kit from a bunch of years ago, and there were some difficulties with my sampling situation at the time. I was recording it through a broken Elisa's ADAT that I had hardwired into the circuitry of. It was very ugly and strange. As a result, they're fairly punchy sounds, but you can clearly hear a certain amount of overhang there. It's like it's some sort of old school trashy kind of thing. There's issues with the sound clarity of it all. But there's issues with more than that. It's an incredibly ugly sounding kit. But that's kind of what it's for. Even the cymbals are trashy. This is a sort of stack cymbal. You can hit it on the tip. It's set up kind of general MIDI, so you have to set up the Roland brain to work with it. It doesn't work automatically with the Roland brain. And there's the stack. There's that sample, and then this one is the even trashier, softer one. And then on the snare variations, we've got a very aggressive, these are heavy hitting samples as well. A damped one, a really live one. And this might sound the same as that, but it's not. Because the difference between this and this is that these are slightly more open, and these are all partly rim shot. So pretty much, Livezilla is just sort of like an insane D&B kind of thing. It is ugly as anything. It's got a certain amount of tragic extra noise, and if that just sounds cool to you, or it would probably only sound cool if you sequence it, because I'm certainly not going to be able, I'm not Jojo Meyer. I'm not going to be able to play D&B on a Roland kit and make it sound like a thing. It's just not going to. Also, these sounds are too edgy for me to be able to make them sound good. I don't have the dexterity to be able to do stuff like this crisply. But if these sound cool to you, then hey, what more do you want? Oh, what more you might want is some variations on these sounds. Here are some right here. Like all of the console kits, Livezilla comes with variations. Sequenced hat, gate, and gate symbol. You've been hearing live hat. It works like a normal hi-hat for a kit. What we're going to do is clear this dialog box because it's finding an extra copy and show you what the sequenced hat does. It's very relevant for this kit, believe me, because what it does is you get to program in drum stuff. You have to tell it when the sound stops. It's going to go until the end of the note, and from a Roland brain, the note is this long. But since it's no longer having to cut off the same bank of sounds, it gets to round robin. So Livezilla with the sequenced hat you get to do that kind of stuff with it. And repetitive stuff all at the same velocity is going to sound a little better than it would otherwise do. The other variations on it are gated, and you can probably guess what that means. And it sounds pretty good with this one. And gated symbol. You can probably guess what gated will do. You can get some interesting sounds out of this. That's usable for some things. Probably not for anything that's supposed to sound remotely natural. But you can also use, and this was slightly less useful for this particular instrument, gate sim. That will keep the hat as sequenced hat, on the assumption that that's the sort of thing that you're going to want. But now the usefulness of this goes down slightly from the fact that these cymbals already are very trashy and cut themselves off very quickly. You do have the ride though, although it's a lot quieter than, it's not super useful. But with this, you've got a super duper gated sound for the drum instruments, but the cymbals, such as they are, will still sustain. And that about wraps it up for Crazy Little Gatezilla. I don't know if this is going to be interesting to anybody, but that's the thing about really unusual, obscure, partially failure samples and products and things like that, is this is just messed up where somebody might find it useful and original, and other people aren't going to have it, because who would pay $10 for this? I guess I'll find out that question. If nobody pays $10 for this, it will be the ultimate secret weapon and nobody else will have it. Because that's what these cost, is just $10. So if you liked Gatezilla, you know where to find it. Talk to you later.